First question, Stephen. Could you tell us what your business does in a nutshell?
Hi everyone.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone. So yeah, Stephen Skeete, owner of Tress Clothing. So I think first I'm going to say, what does Tress mean? Because it's a bit of a funny name, but it's got a concept to it. So the T and R is for truth and trust, because everything I do is always like UK handmade, all good materials. So no sweatshops, nothing like that ever gets used, and it's always going to be here in London as well. And the ESS is both my initials, so Stephen Skeete, so it's quite nice, like fits together. And then the Aquarius logo is for my daughter that was born the day before I formed the company. So it's always been like quite a family orientated thing. In terms of the clothing, I see it as like clean, stylish, and sort of high quality, sort of premium menswear. But certain pieces I'm saying are unisex, so I've had a lot of like female attention out of nowhere, to be honest, in terms of wanting to wear certain pieces. Certain magazines as well more see it as unisex, so at the end of the day the market's bigger and it splits it right in half, so it makes more sales. So that's sort of the direction that it's sort of organically gone, I'd say. But yeah, menswear was my main focus at the beginning.
Okay. And how long have you been running Tress Clothing for?
So it started 30th of January 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 months ago I sort of launched. That's when I started making sales. Website was live. And yeah, just from there really, just kicked on.
And you have a sports and finance background.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you become a fashion designer?
I think finance is boring at the end of the day. Like nobody's trying to do finance. I'm gonna keep it real. No one's trying to do finance for the rest of their life. Like we didn't come out of our mums and think, finance, that's my thing. Like it was never that. And then sports, I feel that it's a market that's just saturated and it's brutal. Like I've got a lot of friends that put their life into it, dropped out of certain like universities and any of like those opportunities, and are sort of now having to get like sort of regular jobs because they don't know what to do. And there's only a certain amount of coaches in the world that can get jobs. So everybody always say with football, everybody always sees the 180 grand a week, but they don't see that kid that's just been released at 21 with nothing but GCSEs and they've got nothing like else to do. So yeah, that's something I always feel passionately about. That when people are like, this player's on 180 a week, blah 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 blah. First and foremost, it's not 180 in your pocket. There's massive taxes, agents, like there's a lot of fees. So the true value and the amount of people that really are earning big money is so low that you just wouldn't believe. So I left school, got into a football scholarship. After a year, I could tell this wasn't me. I didn't really take it serious. I think after the first month, everyone was allowed to go out for lunch or whatever, and I come back with chicken and chips. So from there, the coach probably knew I wasn't really serious. But that's sort of, from there I knew, do you know what I mean? I knew this wasn't for me. And then he told my dad. Dad weren't too happy, but yeah, it gets like that. I wasn't trying to play football, so I left that, started applying for courses, like ticking everything on the college prospectus. Like AAT was one of them, HR was another one, but I was just ticking. I wasn't really caring what I was ticking, I was just trying to keep like my mum and dad sweet and happy. And then I went for an interview. I didn't even know what the role was for, but again, I was just fulfilling what I was meant to do. And it just happened to be an AAC apprenticeship, so it like tied in together at that time. And I just carried on kicking with that. Worked in a few different companies, I got involved in like a startup company, construction, accountancy practice. That's when I probably fully knew this wasn't for me. And I think working in so many different types of companies, industries, owners, that's when I started getting the spark and realising that I need to do something more. I need to do something more than just like numbers. And I think, that's when I could say that the spark sort of came out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And so Tress Clothing is the second company you've set up, right?
Yeah, so I started, it's quite weird because the name Tress before, it just had a ring to it. But there was no like content to it, there was nothing meaty behind it. But yeah, I started contracting, but in between all these, like, while I was just moving about different companies. And then, so that was just literally an umbrella that I used to sort of like contract under. And then from there, it's weird because after my daughter was born, and then I actually found out Tress actually means like a female lock of hair. So it was almost like it was meant to happen. Do you know what I mean? I think that probably having a daughter probably happened 10 years earlier. I'm probably still not even ready, to be honest. Like, I'm always saying, no boy is ever going near, but it happens.
So, one of the 3 core values of Tress Clothing are trust, truth, and positivity. Can you tell us a bit more?
So I think, the truth and trust is, like, a lot of brands out there, especially high fashion brands, once they've got you in, they don't care where they make it and the quality drops. But because they got the company, they've got the buyer's loyalty, the buyer will carry on buying. So they'll keep on saying that quality. But for me, it's a thing where I have so much like appreciation and love deeply for like anybody that buys a piece, that it's a case of you're buying into a brand that's always going to stay with this no matter what. There's no need to change or drop the quality or drop like where you're making it or where the manufacturer is. I think that's the main thing for me, is the trust between like the buyer and myself. Like if I could hand deliver everything myself, I'd do that. Obviously,
so you can meet all your customers yourself?
Honestly, I would, because I think it's an important thing. Because it's not high fashion, anybody can wear it, but at the same time, it's not your high street wear. And even down to certain finishes and certain threads that have been used, it's a thing where a lot of people just miss that out and sort of forget it. But for me, it's an important, massively important thing. And the positivity side is just a case of like just getting up and do it and being positive with it. Because I think that in general, I think it's a massive human thing. Like we always think, we'll sit in a group of friends and like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make this happen. But at the end of the day, like you just gotta just get up and do it. I think that it's funny because at school I was never the creative one. My art teacher always sending me out all the time. And then I remember that I had loads of friends that are into animation and crazy paintings, but they've not even taken it anymore. Some of them even went uni, bearing in mind I never like studied anything in fashion. But they just didn't like have the positive mindset to just go and do it. So I think that's the major thing of like I'm saying with the positivity. It's just a case of like the truth and trust is always with the brand, but also when you purchase a piece, it's a case of like we've just gone for it. In the design to the finishing, we've just gone through it. We've not tried to hold back or like try and cut corners. So that's all that I mean.
Yeah. And do you think there was like a moment you were like, that's it, that's my moment, I'm launching my business?
I think when I found out there was a door on the way, 100%. So I felt that I can't just stay in the same hole of just being that guy that's doing the same thing forever. Because I'm at the end of the day, she's gonna see me, obviously her mum as well, but she's gonna see me and think, okay, you always like doing this, but you only done that. And like, I hate regrets. Like that's a massive. I hate regretting something. I hate it. So I think that's sort of like that was the penultimate point where I was just like, I've got to do this. I think definitely.
Yeah. So starting a family and a business at the same time.
Yeah. Who
not
would
an
do
easy,
that?
not an easy decision.
Right.
So tell us a bit more about your entrepreneur journey. Obviously, becoming a dad and launching your business. Like, what have been the biggest challenges? You've been running Tress Clothing for a year now. What's been the biggest challenges?
I think it's funny because I thought about this more recently. So I put a wall up with the brand in the sense of I was trying to make everybody care about UK manufacturing, high quality clothing to people that just generally don't. Like there's a markets out there for a reason. We're not trying to train the mind and then pull them in up there. It's just making things a lot harder. So I was out here trying to tell all my friends to pull them away from brands like, I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking, why are you buying like Stone Island, for instance? Like this costs X amount, but you could get like XXX from Tress. Do you know what I mean? For instance, and you can get all of this. But I think at the end of the day, these people's brains are already on that. Do you know what I mean? You can't change someone that shops at, I don't know, a cheap high street shop and then expect them to come and care about ethical products and, do you know what I mean, things like that. So I think that was a massive thing I probably held back for myself. I think it was a thing that I used to think about that way too much. And I think now my understanding is a lot better in the sense of there's a lot of people that care about it now.
Yeah, and who your customers are.
Exactly, and even down to, I can easily say where every piece was made, where every material has come from. Do you know what I mean? It's not a case of, it was made in this country, in this city, but it was outsourced to all these different places. My stuff's made in West London. I'd get a coach and take everyone there and show them like it's all done properly.
Locally.
So I think that's an important thing to me.
Yeah, and actually you support UK manufacturing, and so you're sourcing all your products from mills across the country.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you? Why do you want to give that to Tress Clothing?
I mean, if I could, I'd probably do it all in London. But
Yeah.
I think the mills and the prices and the spaces you need, it's only going to make sense for it to be. I'm also, all my materials either come from Birmingham or Leicester.
Right.
And I think that was important because the UK's got a lot to offer, like so much to offer in terms of quality of manufacturing. So they've been saying for years that shoes, made UK brand shoes, has been like smashing it over the years. And I think it's a case of you could even say down to like the whole Brexit thing happening, that the lights may be being put on manufacturing here because it might have to go that way, because doing it overseas is going to be a bit more of a hassle. But I think that just UK in general, it needs to be brought back, because there's a lot of quality makers, from footwear to mills and to everything in general. Like the UK has so much to offer, but it's just overseen because everybody wants to go like around the world and buy this brand because it's worn by this person. But I think in general the UK's got a lot to offer.
And local small businesses as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's easy to go to the big brands. But that was a massive thing for myself.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And we just talked about this, but it's also like who you associated yourself with, and what you choose for your business. And obviously these guys want to know as well how you came across Tide and why you decided to go with us rather than Street Bank, for instance.
Do you know, I think at the time I was just so busy, and I was sort of stressing about the whole the banking process. Like, I need to open up an account. Like, I was just thinking about it so much.
Yeah.
I was thinking, who do I go with? And I messaged my accountant, and he's actually retired as well. And I think at that time I was at Pod Point, which is in Old Street, and I think that's when you had your pop up, like under Old Street roundabout underneath. And he was like, "Yeah, you need to get down to it." Long story short, I didn't even get down to it. And I was like, I was that guy. I know. How am I sitting here speaking in front of you? You just pump money into that as well, and I'm here saying I didn't even roll through. But I should have gone. But I know. But he sent me over a link, and I remember the first thing that I saw was it set up in 3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm there like, nah, like, what's this? Some dodgy link. But honestly, like, hands down, I can say it's the best thing, and I'm so happy I've done it. Because I swear it was actually like 3 minutes. You weren't even lying, so it was quick. And it just took away that whole stress. Something I was just stressing about, like the whole process. I'm having to go into a branch, take all like my electric bill, all this stuff you don't even want to have to think about. But it was literally done like this, instant. The card came out 3 days. It was looking nice in that card. I'm thinking like, yeah, this is proper. And I was so happy that it just got done quick. And it was something that, especially with this, you find yourself procrastinating, like, I've got to do this. And that was something I literally ticked off within 3 minutes and it's done. And it wasn't even something I had to think about.
And it was out of the list.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it was in the first day you were setting up the business, I imagine. So
exactly, yeah, first stages. So it's manic. Like, and the thing is, especially then, I was working so hard, but I wasn't working smart whatsoever. So I was taking ages to do everything. Do you know what I mean? I probably had about 50 links, just like procrastinating, just looking at all different things. But yeah, that was honestly that process was quick and it was perfect, to be honest. I think that anybody that's serious about just trying to cut down time, it needs to make it happen.
And what would you say is your favourite thing or feature about Tide?
I think probably the adding receipts function. I think it just makes everything so much easier, and it teams up well with that you can obviously download like Excel reports straight away and quick. I think those two things there, like the they're the best things for me. But I think definitely like the receipt function, that's probably number one, I think, because you can literally, once it's obviously line by line, but you've spent that money and you can take a picture, you just get rid of it. And I think that to me, yeah, that's the best thing. Yeah.
And is there feedback that you want to give to these guys right now, or is there anything you haven't built yet for you?
I was asking some dumb questions. I don't know who it was to. On the messaging, on one of my, I can't remember who it was to. It's so dumb. Thinking back, I was a shambles at that point asking. I think is it Tom? Is it Tom? No. That's I might be trying to chuck names. Maybe it was, but whoever it was, he made me feel smart asking dumb questions. He helped me out. I can't remember what it was. I think for the contract, because I'm gonna recreate it, so I'm gonna shut the company down and make another one. And I just wanted to understand how the process works. He helped me out massively for that. So yeah, it was on the ball, so instant as well. Within like 50, do you know what I mean? Little things like that when it's just done off your tick list, you haven't got to worry about it. I think with other, obviously, with other like high street banks, you have to keep it on the tick list for ages. Go in, see them, speak to them on the phone. It's long. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's trying to spend time to it. I know I'm not. But I think things like that, it's just the one, to be honest. Feedback, instant, helpful, concise, and dumb-proof to people like me who just don't really get it. So yeah, that type of thing like is a massive help.
Yeah, real time, right?
Yeah, literally. And it's so with the time. So I think that we're trying to move away now from just phone calls. We're just trying to drop messages. We can go back on the app. We see it's been replied to. We can jump on it. It just makes sense. Sort of like an instant messaging thing. So yeah, I think that to me it helps a lot. I mean, some people that are sort of at the end of their sort of business stage, sort of like the older people, maybe prefer like the tangible paper still and prefer the phone calls, but the way everything's going, it just makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It makes a lot of sense.
And talking about where things are going, what are the next steps for Tress Clothing?
I think just modelling and playing about with the way I'm pushing the current clothing out, to be honest. I think before I used to, do you know what the craziest thing is in general is people care. I mean, a few will probably have seen it, like Instagram followers, people care about that way too much. Like, I've got, I don't know if you know, but Only Wears Essex, Tommy Mallet, some people might know him. So he messaged me, and I'm going to send him out some clothing now. But he's got 746,000 followers. And it's a case of like, you'll think, you're going to get X amount of sales. Like, it doesn't even work like that. Do you know what I mean? So I think for me, it's just getting the right people in the clothing, just showing like all different types of people in different clothing. So I'm going to do that as like a massive like promo push, just to show like anybody can jump in it. Do you know what I mean? Anybody can wear it. But I think like the next thing is, I've got another couple of collections designed. I think the thing I've learned is currently I've got 10 pieces. So next collection, I'm going to chop that down and just do 6 pieces.
Right. So literally capsules collections.
Yeah. I've been pushing the 10 pieces as a capsule collection. Like 10 is too tedious, too many things to worry about. I've got too much going on. I'm focusing, obviously I'll always focus on the details, but like I've got 4 zips, and each zip is like bespoke to that piece. So for instance, all different sizes, and it goes into so much detail.
Yeah.
But there's certain places I feel that I need to put the details and refocus the energy, and I feel that maybe I went too deep with my first one. Do you know what I mean?
The first collection.
Yeah, I feel that maybe I should have just played around with silhouettes a little bit more. But yeah, next collection, 100% 6 pieces. It's going to be not totally different because I can't be pulling people in to get it, and then they're going to see I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Be like, I'm not wearing that. But I think it's a case of I want to play around a little bit more with the.
When can we expect the second collection?
That's pressure, you know.
Sorry,
no
pressure.
I think realistically, early next year. I think once everybody's recouped and spending all their money after Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go well into February. Do you know what I mean?
Awesome.
So I think February/March maybe push it out then, and you'll see a lot more.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. I mean, yeah, what's coming is looking, very good. Very, very good.
Amazing. Well,
I'm not biased or anything.
No, obviously not. Thank you so much, Stephen.
Thank you.
Guys, questions for Stephen, please. Yeah, Matthew.
So, it's a two in one. What's the one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, and what's the one piece of advice you would give to your daughter?
Do you know, I'm going to start with the daughter first. That one's so easy. Yeah. So easy. Stay away from boys. Yeah. Number one. Do you know what's funny? At the moment, my daughter was born in Homerton Hospital, and that's in Hackney. And there's no way I'm having a boy from Hackney chatting to my daughter. Like, that's not happening. Yeah, it's not. That's the number one thing for my daughter, and I'll carry that through until I'm 70. So it's mad. Like, but yeah, that's number one. Like, that's the number one thing. So easy answer done. But I think for me, like, what I'd give myself is just go for it. I was in school selling Kit Kats, cans, everything, literally everything. I was making a killing. So when I see that on the front page of the paper that this boy was making X amount because he was selling it, I was definitely doing double what he was doing. And I think it's just a case of like just pushing it to another level. And when you go for something, just go 100% in it. Because I think that I was looking too much around I was caring too much about what people around me was doing and what my friends and people's idea of what I should be doing. I was caring about that too much. So I think just go for it, to be honest. Go for it. And there's no like perfect age and there's no perfect time. You just got to go for it. Otherwise, life circumstances will slow you down because we all have things going on, do you know what I mean? And I think if anything, I had a perfect, I wouldn't say excuse, but to push it back. Do you know what I mean? I think there was a time when, just after Alana was born, I think she was kept in for 10 days, and I had my first manufacture meeting 7 days in, so I had to leave the hospital and go. And I think that it's just testament to like the deepness that this brand actually sits within me. So I think just go for it and action it. That's my thing.
What are some of your inspirations for Tress Clothing? Like, are there any like designers that inspire you, or any like people?
I think that design-wise, my favourite designer is probably Neil Barrett, Tom Brown. I think they're like my main sort of favourite designers. I think. Why? Probably because they're just clean. I just like for myself, I don't really like big logos, big prints. I mean, I respect it and I get it. But I don't feel like it's timeless. Like, I feel I want to create clothing, and I want to wear clothing that I could wear in 10 years and not look silly.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it's sort of going. I think that the stage of like the big prints, I think that you can only wear it for a certain amount of time, and I want to be able to pick something up as long as my waist allows it, pick something up in a matter of years' time, and it still makes sense. Do you know what I mean, to what I'm wearing? So I think that's a major thing for me.
And if you could dress anyone, like famous or otherwise, or probably famous so we all know.
Okay. I'll probably say it's quite a hard one now. It's quite a hard one because the people I like, they sort of like have their own brands, so I'm asking them to. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't matter. Forget that. Like theoretically, if you could.
In theory, with method behind it, someone like Kanye West, you know, because he's like a Marmite guy, and people either like him or don't. And to be honest, personally, like I love the guy. Like he creates so much heat that he's smart. Like, do you know what I mean? And I love that. Like music-wise, like that's not my type of music. I don't really listen to that. But if I could dress him, I know he's gonna say something crazy, and then probably like 1 billion people is gonna be seeing him wearing Tress clothing. It's like, 110%. It'd probably be him.
Youssef and Millie after that.
Sorry if I missed it at the beginning, but what's your plan for Tress Clothing? Are you trying to organise a boutique brand, or are you looking to take it a little bit mainstream? And whichever one the answer is, what do you think is the biggest challenge to getting? Yeah,
I think when we say boutique, I think it limits ourselves. I think that's personally what I feel.
Sorry?
I think when we say boutique in general, I think it like limits ourselves and limits us designers and as brands. I think that as a brand, I want to take it larger, make like on a worldwide scale at the end of the day. I think that because Tress has a large message behind it, and if I could eventually go into maybe schools and spread the message on the side of just going for it, making it happen, whatever hits you, just literally just make it happen and share sort of the tools and things that I've learned and connections that I've learned. I think that that's sort of the aim I'm trying to go with it. But in terms of like the brand and where I want to take my clothing, I think that eventually, definitely I want to take it to a stage where it's in a lot of the stores around the world which apply to my clothing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to chuck it in sort of a mainstream UK sports shop and devalue the brand, because I know that the brand next to it, that was manufactured in China, and they probably don't even know half the places where the material's from. I think the massive thing, and I think I touched on it when we spoke before, I think a massive thing for me is the best type of marketing, product placement. Because you can have the best personal brand marketing, but as soon as you put it into that sort of brand's hands or that store's hands, they can market it how they want. When it comes to the store, that could be next to that brand over there that really doesn't care about what they're doing. They're just really in it for the profit. Because a massive thing is, and it's sort of a shame in fashion, a massive thing that's happening is pre-made products. People just taking out labels, putting in their labels, putting embroidery on it, putting a print on it, and selling it as theirs. Now for me, if that was next to a piece of Tress clothing, I'm not saying that people necessarily think, oh, that brand's the same, but if I really care about my brand, why am I going to be putting it in a place like that? So that's why for me personally, I think that pumping money into marketing and fashion is going to be something that's going to massively die down, because I really do think that it's all about more product placement. Because for myself, for instance, I just recently got listed on Wolf and Badger, which is a thing where they have a lot of ethical handmade clothing on there, which is made in its respective countries. So that's given me exposure in New York, Paris, like Fashion Week. So I know that every single brand on there has gone through rigorous checks on where their stuff's made. So I think that to me was sort of a strategic move in the sense of like genuine brand exposure. I think product placement for me, I see that being a big thing. Definitely.
Millie?
I know you, obviously it's generally menswear and can be interpreted as unisex.
Yeah.
Do you think you ever have plans to do like a women's wear collection?
Do you know what it is? I feel that, yes, definitely. I feel there's a massive market for it with sort of the designs that I do, obviously making it more feminine and playing around with it and that. But women are difficult, like mad difficult, genuinely. Like, do you know what it is for women? If, for instance, let's just say a number, £500, they, in general, I'm saying, they'd expect about 1,000 pieces of clothing for that £500 in general, and they'll wear it, send it back, and then you have to sort of refund it. There's a lot in clothing, there's so much hassle. You don't mean start returning all your clothes, but not returning it and is so much hassle. You just have to fulfill the return. And in general, whether it's high street or high fashion, the return rate is so crazy that you have to be very, very careful. However, I'm definitely going to be doing women's. I think, to be honest, if everything goes how I see it should go, next year I want to put a menswear out at the beginning, 6 months after push out women's collection as well. Just because I feel that it's what's needed in general, because I don't feel there's a lot out there for women in terms of ethical brands that are well made. I feel there's a lot of women's clothing that's cheaply made just because to get the different styles out. So there's a lot of brands out there, you go onto their website, whatever website you're going on, and now have 20 different variations of that exact dress, but they'll be slightly different. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that because it's like that, the quality's dropped. Now with me, maybe if I was to do a dress, I'm only doing two different types, man, and that's about it. You're not gonna go on to, and I think it goes for my men's as well. You're never gonna see a mass different like colour palette or whatever it is. I'm gonna put my efforts into that one, and really go hard at it, and do another one as well, just so you've got obviously the choice. But I think that the women's market in general, is very, very difficult. I think that's why people maybe stay away from it. But on the men's side of it, men genuinely are lazy shoppers. They just want everything in front of them, and they'll buy that and that and that, and that's about it. Obviously caring about price as well, but they'll just pick things up without even looking at it, and genuinely they're quite loyal to their brands. So a man is always shopping in that one place, because they've not got time to go through Instagram and like this and then have a look at the brand and visit the shop. They don't do that. They just get that t-shirt, those trousers, and they'll wear them until you can't wear them anymore. And then they'll do the same process again. But I think, it's crazy because it's the same, like fashion is the same thing, but the markets are so split with women and males is quite crazy. But yeah, there's definitely, especially my collection, there's a few pieces that really are unisex. So I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to push it like that. Yeah. Cool.
A last question? Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephen.